everyone. This is Libby Pacheco from the THSCA. Welcome to Season 4 of the Coach's Call podcast. This season, we'll keep delivering content to help you tackle all the different aspects of coaching, from the personal side of what it means to lead to the professional challenges we know you face every day. With basketball and soccer seasons upon us, we want to encourage everyone to stay connected and engage with the Texas way. This program is designed to foster positive sportsmanship across the state, and we're already seeing that positive impact in our fall sports. Positive sportsmanship is something our students, schools, and communities value deeply. So let's continue building on the momentum so we can ensure it remains a core part of Texas athletics. Finally, as leaders in community, education-based athletics, we encourage you to shine a light on all the good things happening in your program. Today, more than ever, it's important to show how athletics positively impact students, schools, and communities. Whether it's the hard work, character, or achievements, every day brings something worth celebrating. So don't let those moments go unnoticed and unshared. When you share your stories, you're helping build support for programs and strengthen our communities across the entire state. Thank you for tuning in, for supporting the podcast, and all you do to support the THSCA. Together, we will continue to help coaches help kids.
Did you know that you can use podcasting to not only share the great news about your athletes and your programs, but as a fundraiser for your booster club? Yes, Lone Star Gridiron produced the 5th podcast in history and has been doing it 20 years. We are expanding now to do shows outside of football. So whatever your sport, reach out to us at 713-269-4620, and we'll discuss how you can use this amazing tool to supercharge your program. And the best part, we do all the heavy lifting. Text your name and school to 713-269-4620. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Coach's Call. I'm Chris Daly, and today, once again, I have an amazing panel of coaches. I'm going to hand things over, though, first to Coach Randy Bermea from Rockwall. Coach Bermea, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day, beautiful weather up here in the DFW today, getting used to it. I just ran a marathon this weekend, so I'm a little bit in recovery mode, and it's good to be here with Coach Villasenor and Coach Wolf. I'm hyped up.
I was to say, now you're just bragging. Oh, I just ran a marathon. But today we're going to talk about developing a coaching philosophy and examining your why, correct?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Well, then I'm going to hand the mic over to you. I'm going to back off and let you run the show, introduce your guests, and we'll take it from there.
All right. Like we were talking about earlier, my name is Coach Randy Bermea. I'm from Rockwall High School. We're outside of Dallas, on the east side of Dallas. And I'm here. I have 2 guests with me, 2 coaches that I've known through the coaching network, through 2HSCA, through coaching school, and the Rock Mentorship program that I'm a part of as well. First, I'll go ahead and introduce Coach Wolf-Schramm. She can go ahead and introduce herself briefly.
Hi, my name is Coach Wolf. This is my 19th year teaching and coaching, and I kind of have gotten the opportunity to know and have conversations with our gentleman today that we're talking with through THSCA. THSCA has been in my life for, I've been a member for over a decade, but really kind of since 19, it's been a big part of my life. And it's amazing what this association has done in the last course of couple of years. And I'm just very grateful today to be here with you guys.
Awesome. Coach Villasenor.
Good afternoon. My name is Eric Villasenor. I'm currently the athletic director here in Eagle Pass ISD. I've been in the education profession this is my 23rd year. So met a lot of people along the way. I've been in the association for 23 years. Built a good network, a strong network, and people that when I need a shoulder to lean on, they've always been there for me. So very grateful for the association. My first coaching school was in 2001 in Fort Worth. So that no longer exists, right, Coach Wolf?
Yeah,
So
no.
no more Fort Worth. So we're San Antonio and Houston. And,
Yeah.
I miss the Fort Worth days and I miss the Austin ones. I mentioned that to Coach Martin, but who knows if we'll see those sites again. But very happy to be on with all of you.
Awesome. I'm new to the coaching profession. This is currently my fourth year. Took a detour before I got into coaching, but I'm definitely excited to be here with both of you all. And you guys are doing great things in your respective roles. Coach Villasenor and I go way back to our dads, so him and I have a long history. And then Coach Wolf meeting at coaching school a couple of years ago again to chat with you. And just how you do things and how you run your program. And I follow your social media presence, and I'm come softball season, I'm wearing blue and I'm rooting for you guys. So I'm fired up. And today we just want to get talking about, examining your coaching philosophy and finding out what your why is, right? Because in our profession, it's one of those few professions where people can be removed from the situation or from your program and have something to say, right? They don't see us going to someone else's workplace and telling them how to do their job, but that's the profession that we signed up for. And it's not because of the pay, and it's not because we work easy hours, but it's more of a calling than it is in anything else. And, both of you guys have grown throughout your career and along the way have impacted several lives, and your all's lives have been impacted by another coach as well. So today we just want to spend some time examining that and where that came from and y'all's why. Okay. So Coach Wolf, if you want to go ahead and if you don't mind getting us started, just talk about the moment that you decided or the time that decided like, hey, I'm going to get into coaching and this is a profession that's calling me and this is what I want to do with my life.
So I grew up in a small town, Elgin, Texas, and I got the opportunity to go to college and play college softball at Fresno State in 01. And in my whole life as an athlete, I was very blessed to have great coaches in my life, from a child to high school to college. I was very, very blessed. And in college, I did not know what I wanted to do. And I actually got my degree in criminology. I always knew that I wanted to work with kids. I wanted to help kids. And so my specialty was victim service work. And I did that for 2 years in college. And that was a very hard career to kind of get into. And I knew that I wanted to impact kids' lives. I wanted to make a difference. And I thought, if I can't do this, then what is the next thing that I can do? And so I did a lot of reflecting my last year at Fresno State, my 5th year. And when I came back to Texas, people started asking me if I wanted to apply for jobs to be a teacher and a coach. And I remember having a conversation with my parents and saying, what can I do that's going to make an impact in kids' lives? How can I still have a positive impact in kids' lives in some kind of way? And that was kind of how I got into it. I wanted to give to kids. I wanted to be the person that all of my coaches were to me in my life.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. That's great stuff. I think, being in a unique position, Coach Villasenor is in the same position, but having, that figure at home, both of our dads are coaches. So I know he was the same way, walking around a grocery store. It's, hey, Coach, how's it going? And nice to see you. And then you go get our oil changed and, oh, hey, Coach, how's it going? I used to coach this kid. And then, hearing those stories about the influence of a coach, right, from the outside looking in, because we can kind of take it for granted as coaches' kids. But to hear someone who has a little different view and how important that coaches were, it's refreshing to hear. So Coach Villasenor, if you don't mind going ahead and saying what got you going into the coaching gig.
I graduated from UTSA in May of 01.
Birds up.
And, my track was, and my thought process was to go to law school. I was already headed to U of H, had my LSATs taken care of and so forth. And, my dad, who was a head coach at La Jolla, down in the Rio Grande Valley, he had just got hired on there in the spring of '01, back in March of '01. And he said, you know what, why don't you come down here and save up some money, and then you'll be ready to go and you'll be on your way to Houston. I said, okay. I said, let me try this. Let me do this for 2 years. And I kind of, set a good path forward. Well, that didn't happen, obviously, right? So, and why that happened was because I fell in love with the relationship building. I fell in love with, building up kids and competing and teaching them how to compete and teaching them how to deal with adversity and also, providing avenues of how to handle success. And I really enjoyed that. And it was kind of a moment where I was like, is this what you want to do the rest of your career? Because this is a good opportunity for you. Or do you want to pursue, this other avenue? I chose to stay in the coaching profession, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and just continue to grow. Coach Edward Graff, who's retiring in a couple of days as our athletic director, hired me in Eagle Pass in '03. He hired me in '03 as a position coach, and then our school split up in '06. I had the opportunity to become an offensive coordinator, and then kind of just continue to climb the ranks. And the good Lord has had His hand on me, and just been very fortunate to be blessed where I'm at.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. It's funny to hear, kind of different paths in a sense, but the core reason for staying in this industry or pulled us towards this industry is, the kids, right? Keeping the kids first, their well-being, because you never know, what kids have going on at home. You see them in a short amount of time, and who knows what they go home to, right, every day. And sometimes it's that little, an hour and a half, depending on the season or time that they get with you, that just changes their perspective on life. It could be, from the decisions they make whenever they're with their friends, or from the way they handle themselves in the classroom or in the cafeteria or anything like that. Like those little interactions that we get with those kids really seem to be the driving force for that. And that's kind of goes into what we wanted to talk about next, was our coaching philosophy, right? That gets tossed around a lot. And me as a young coach, or new to the profession, at least, looking up to what you two have both done and the programs that you guys have built, it begs the question, like, what is a coaching philosophy to you, and what does that look like for your program? Is it something that is incorporated daily? Is it a slogan that goes up on the locker room or on a t-shirt that year? Or, what is that to you guys? And how do you guys go about, does it change every year? Or is it kind of just what the foundation of our program is, and this is what we roll with, right? Just want to get y'all's take on that. Whoever wants to go first.
Coach, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Coach. So, I feel leadership is a transfer of beliefs. You got to be built a certain way. And in my opinion, you see a lot of things on the wall and t-shirts, but it's more of an action plan. Are you really modeling what you're doing? Are you practicing what you preach? What type of language are you using? And is that language aligned with what's on the wall? Is that language and are those actions aligned with what's on that t-shirt? Because if not, it's just, it's an image. All right. It's not real. And in order to drive a positive culture, you need to drive that every single day. And through my experiences, it's through championship habits. What do championship habits look like? What does championship language sound like? And all of that needs to be vertically aligned from your middle school feeder programs all the way to the top, to the head coach, to the athletic coordinator, to the athletic director. It's got to be aligned with what you're about, what you believe in. Does that always work? Absolutely not, because everybody's built a different way. And what I've learned as a head football coach, now as an athletic director, you got to manage personalities, because not everybody's like you. But you got to make sure that they're driving what you're preaching their way towards the same direction and the points you want to get across to their program. So culture drives beliefs, beliefs drive habits, and I'm a firm believer in doing that. And it's a tough job, but you got to make sure that you drive that every single day, and to the people that you communicate, every administrators, teachers, parents, and most importantly, the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with you on a lot of those things. When I got into, my first year coaching, I was a head coach. I was 22.
Wow.
And I had 9 18-year-old seniors. And I was just like, wow, how am I, how are you going to find that balance? I literally could have been an older sister to that first class of kids that I ever coached as a head coach. And I knew that when I first began in my career that I wanted my programs to always be built off of championship mentality in all walks of life, right? Like in everything that we do, we're champions. And that I wanted my athletes, by the time that they graduated, that they would be champions for life. Not that maybe we win a state title, right? We all want to win a state title, but in all aspects that they were going to be champions for life in, who they were as people, who they were as citizens, going out and being able to be successful and a go-getter and overcoming adversity, because we're all going to have adversity in our life, to be passionate, to be excited about the things that we are destined to do. Family is a big thing that I always wanted my programs to be built off of. And I really wanted programs that we had to be that. I wanted them to feel it, speak it, breathe it, all of that, right? Like I wanted our program to be built off of family championship mentality. Coach Sarkeesian says, culture isn't like a flashy like t-shirt quote. It's, like it's what you do every day. And when I saw that interview this year or last year when he said that, that really like spoke to me, because, like what you said, Coach, like your culture is how you do everything. Right. It's not like and I'm all about the hashtags and those kinds of things on social media, but like your culture, you can literally all elements see it, right? When somebody steps in your program day one as a freshman, they know what it's about, and it's authentic. It's not pushed on students like they want it, right? Like, and that was always kind of like how I envisioned, all of, I guess the opportunities that I would get to coach my programs, and I've been 3, and that was kind of like what I wanted it to really be. The most important thing is that we are getting these kids prepared to be champions in life. Like nothing fires me up more than to see kids come back or see them on social media or go to their weddings and things like that and their celebrations, and to see them that they are thriving, that they, believe in themselves and they're great citizens, and you know what I'm saying? And so those are just the big parts of what we do.
Mm-hmm. And I love everything you said there. And it's not something that you do whenever it's easy or whenever it's convenient, right? Whenever the schedule allows, it's what you're going to do no matter what, right? That's a discipline versus motivation. That's that whole, relationship. And one of the things that you guys do, Coach, and this is just to show your reach, but I follow you guys, and I got to hear about the power plant. I got to hear the story behind that, because it's outside looking in. the power plant, I'm like, I know those girls are throwing weights around, and I love it. Like that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. So I'm sure there's more to that, but just wanted to get a quick synopsis from you about that.
So back in Elgin, but I don't know if you guys know this, his name's Ricky Locke, and he was my AD at Elgin. He's at Southside San Antonio now. And that's
many times. He's in our district.
That was the name of our weight room in Elgin. Well, you know, a couple of years ago, we started doing boot camp like Smithson Valley football. The football team was who told us to do boot camp. They were like, Coach Wolf, you got to get your girls to do boot camp. And I was like, well, I don't even really. So I went and watched, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is what I want. Right. Because, I mean, it's all about energy. It's all about, you know what I'm saying? Like fueling for your team. And if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, I'm failing my team. Right. And so a couple of years ago, one of my assistants, he was a football coach for Coach Hill. And one of his duties was getting our kids in the weight room and those kinds of things. Well, he had them on a program. It's called Rack Performance. And those kids are on a buzzer, then they're going. And it's intense. And I looked at Coach Randall one day and I was like, it's like a power plant, like Coach Locke used to tell us in Elgin, Texas. I think we're keeping the lights on at Smithson Valley here. And so that's kind of like, you know, because you got to get these kids excited about what they're doing every day, right? You can't be robotic. You got to be authentic in it. And, you know, it excites me to see women be strong, right? To be strong, to not shy from that, you know, and it's just something that I really like on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays when we're in there. I mean, it just like, but yeah, Coach Locke at Southside, power plant.
There you go. That's so important because I love to see the football working with the softball. Because my sister is a head volleyball coach at Laredo Alexander, and you know, we have our dad is football, basketball, baseball. He's used to coach at a 1A high school, and where you coached everything. The head football coach was the number one line maker on the field, and he watered the grass, and he did everything. And so much of that weight room toughness was kind of shed towards the football players and the boy sports. And then having my older sister grow up, she's like, no, I want to be like that. Like, I want to bring that to volleyball. And then now to hear what y'all are doing with the softball program. And I think even the THSCA is doing a great job, like connecting the two and collaborating with men and women just to see the women coaches too at coaching school. And that's great. And it gets lost sometimes in guys versus girls or boy sports versus girl sports. And they're so different, but they need the same thing. Kids need to be strong. They need to be fast. They need to be powerful, no matter what sport you're playing. Right. So to see the overlap there between the two programs, boys and girls, is exciting for me because, you know, I get to coach boys track and girls track, and then I coach football, and then, you know, everyone has a different path, and to find find a way to gel everything is super important. And that's how you can cross cultures. Right. And then you develop a athletic wide culture instead of just, this is our football culture where it's different than our softball or it's different than our basketball. Like, no, let's make, you know, our case, let's make Rockwall athletics football.
It's got to be all inclusive.
Yeah, it has to be.
The best thing I ever did was watch Smithson Valley's boot camp. You know, I could hear him up the hill yelling and screaming on boot camp day. But the best thing I ever did was take advice from those players that told me to go and watch boot camp. And they said, once you see it, you want to incorporate it, coach. Mm-hmm. And I was getting advice from teenage kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, they influence us sometimes just as much as we influence them. Right.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to our why, right? Like, why do we do it? It's for them anyway. Right. And that's when sometimes it gets lost. And that's when I guess you can see issues start to come up, is when that gets lost in, I need this for me, and I need this for my program, and I need this for this. And we forget that the kids are why we're all doing it. You know, we just talked about it a few minutes ago. We're all in it for the kids.
Right.
Coaching philosophies for the kids, knowing our why, and it all traces back to the kids, and that can get lost, right? So in that kind of scenario where maybe I'm trying to achieve this or trying to get to this point, and I feel myself getting lost in the path, right? In my way, what would you guys do, or how do you guys, having the success that you guys have, how do you guys get back to your why? Like, do you have a daily reminder, or maybe it's who you surround yourself with that kind of pulls you back in if you kind of start, drifting away from your purpose and your why? Do you guys have anyone like that, or any protocol that you guys do for anything like that?
Well, I mean, I always fall back on, I keep it simple with the kids and with myself, and just make sure that I like to operate and, with three core values, three pillars, that way, if you put a paragraph on the wall, or you start, explaining this, the kids are going to forget. And the more you keep it simple within yourself, and for the programs that you affect in a positive way, or the programs you have the opportunity to coach, I think you need to fall back on that. I have three that I fall back on. One is inspire, two is impact, and three is transform. So as I start my day or on my drive home, all right, so how could I have done this better on my drive home? How could I have done this better? Did I inspire that individual the right way? Did I impact this coach in a positive way? And are we working to transform lives? And that's what I tell our head coaches: just keep it simple, guys, but keep these three words in place. When you find yourself in a tough situation, what's best for the kids? Did I inspire them? Did we impact them? Are we transforming them to be better? And go back to what Coach Wolf said, transforming their lives to be better adults, better citizens, impacting the community that they want to serve, and just making sure that they carry those values when they leave and exit our program. And I like to talk about this to our head coaches in our opening meetings, the 4+40 model. So these kids, male and female, they're coming into your program, into high school for the next 4 years. How are you going to affect their lives for the next 40 years? Okay. They're going to be moms. They're going to be dads. They're going to be productive human beings. What, within these 4 years that they're in your program, how are they going to carry what you've taught them? All right. The values, the characteristics, how to respond when things aren't going well, and how to handle success. So I think those are things that have worked for me. I try and share that with our coaches and make sure that, hey, this is maybe something you need to look at and test it and see how it fits and how it aligns with your vision.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach, on a lot of reflecting. I do that before I go into work, like that day. What are things from yesterday that today, because a lot of the time, I got to be honest, a lot of the time I temperature check a lot of things, like where are we, right? Like as far as things go within our program, not even from a skill level, but just in how our program is and the culture, and are we taking care of each other, and are we accountable? And so I do a lot of reflection on my drive in the morning, and like you, Coach, on my drive home. What did we do really well today? What is something that can get better, right? And I think being as a coach, you've got to be very authentic with yourself. Give yourself grace, right? You're not going to be perfect at everything. But I think we've got to really be authentic with ourselves sometimes, and not just be rainbows and butterflies and,
Absolutely.
And know, man, I really need to kind of get better at that. Or how can I word a conversation that I need to have that maybe is going to be difficult, but I've got to be transparent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to put kids' best interest always first. I agree 100% with you, Coach, on that when you said that. We are always in the business of kids, and the minute that we start veering from that road, we've got to rein ourselves back in. And I think a lot of that comes with self-reflection. If we're winning in the locker room, if we're winning in our relationships and who we are as people, that's going to, in some kind of way, going to carry out to the skill set of wins and losses on the field.
Right. And that's a beautiful point, because sometimes, we might, maybe get new administration on campus, right? Maybe a new principal or a new assistant principal or new athletic director or coordinator. And maybe the wins and losses they don't look like they're supposed to, right? So yeah, when they see a member of our sports team walking through the halls, they should be like, okay, that right there, the way that kid's carrying himself is enough reason to support this program, right? And maybe they didn't make the playoffs this year, or maybe they struggled this year. It was a down year, but there was the kind of kid that I'm getting through this program is a representation of our school district and our school and the values that we possess. So you know what, we're going to keep on rolling with that, coach, because eventually those wins are going to happen. Right. That success will come eventually. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What we share as well with the kids is be uncommon. Say good morning. Say good afternoon. Say thank you. Say you're welcome. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. And you come to find, and I found it, like they'll say, Coach, good morning. And I'll reply back, good morning. How are you? And they're like, their body language changes, because that's not too common that somebody's asking them how they're doing. Or, hey, I'll ask the coaches, hey, what's good? Instead of, being, dropping, what's wrong. Hey guys, what's good? Talk to me a little bit. What's good in your life right now? And I'll tell you what, their body language changes, their expressions change, and they're ready to open up to you. And then then you can say, well, you know what, coach, we really need to look at this, kind of need to correct this before you get into that. Say, hey, coach, what's good in your life right now? Talk to me. How are things going?
Yeah.
And they perk up. Yeah. They perk up in a positive way.
Before I came here to Rockwall, I was in Harlingen, and we would do things like great morning, because everyone says good morning, right? So, hey, great morning. Tell your teacher that. See what they do, right? How that changes the little subtleties of our day-to-day lives. Going back to having those difficult conversations, how does, especially like at the end of the season, right? The season ended, whether it ended the way we wanted to or not, right? Now we have to go back and reflect on our year and kind of come up with a plan moving forward. Does, your philosophy change a little bit here and there to the team's needs, right? Like maybe one year you had a really strong leadership team, and the following year, hey, we have a bunch of young kids that need to step up into a leadership role. So do you tweak your philosophy a little bit, or is that something you incorporate through your entire off-season program to try to push the kids or give the kids opportunities to assume those roles that need to be filled on the team, or what's y'all's belief on that?
I think the way you carry yourself, the way you communicate with people, that's the character that you present to others. When you're having a down year or whatnot, I feel you got to edit some things and look at self-reflection. What was good. I really do. I stole this from Randy Jackson, is do an autopsy and really check. All right, what was good, what wasn't so good, and get some quality control in there with your assistant coaches, and be data driven. A lot of decisions that we make in our profession are data-driven decisions. What do the percentages look like? Now it's analytics and so forth, but really don't change who you are, because you got to this, to this place because of the person you are. Edit some things, conform, adapt to the hand that you're dealt, and then, move forward with the challenges ahead, because every year is a challenge. The challenge as a head coach is putting the pieces of the puzzle together, make sure it works.
I like to always think that softball season for me is going to end when graduation happens. That's always my goal, because, that's when so at the end of our season, usually we try to get evaluation stuff, like what did we do really well? What are some things that can get better, right? But then I really like to get data from my kids who are graduating, like from a whole collective of their 4 years, right? Outside kind of looking in here, like, and get that perspective of, okay, from year to year, what have we done really well? What do we need to get better? Because years are different, right? And then also, when we come into the new school year, I have a lot of conversations with kids about where we're at now. Like in that next year with kids who come back, with my incoming freshmen, like we do a lot of, I get a lot of information like that. Like I believe in getting feedback from kids and finding out information from them, and so that I can be the best that I can be as their head coach, and that the 4 years that they're here, that we are filling their tank in all aspects of life, right? We are helping them in all aspects of life. And when they leave here, they can say, man, I'm so glad that I graduated from that program.
That's what it's about. I know our head football coach here in Rockwall, Coach Trey Brooks, he just spent a couple weeks at the end of the season meeting individually with every senior in our program, right? Like you just talked about, Coach, the exit interview. What has their time like been here in Rockwall? And that's how you get the true pulse of your team, right? Because those kids are done with the program. They don't have a benefit to say what you want to hear, right? They're going to tell you cut and dry the truth. So I think that's super important. One thing that you talked about, Coach Villasenor, was, meeting with your assistants, right? And this is for both of you, as we get, close to the end here, but for those new or young assistant coaches that are maybe aspiring to be head coaches, and maybe they're struggling with finding their why in the profession. Do you have any words of wisdom or advice to helping them figure that out?
I think, you need to celebrate their successes and the things that you've analyzed and what contributions that they've brought to the program. There's always room to grow. And I always look each day to make it a little bit better and find something to grow from that I've learned every day. And that's what I strive to do. And that's what I share with our young assistant coaches. And I always share this with them. I said, there's no loophole for hard work. I mean, it takes what it takes. And if you want to climb that ladder and you want to make sure that you get to where you want to be in your career ladder, then it's going to take an investment. It's going to take an investment in what you want to do. I always share this with them. I said, build a network. Build a network of people that you're fans of. I said, if you're a fan of Coach Wolf-Schramm and she's speaking at coaching school, then you need to go listen to her. And you need to build that relationship with her, because you never know. I mean, you never know. And I say, you may move to San Antonio, you may move to Spring Branch, and that relationship is already there. And there might be a vacancy. And here we go. Now that, and it goes back to you, Randy. You were in Harlingen. You took the leap of faith to Rockwall, 8 hours away, and here you are in the Metroplex. I never would have thought that 3 years ago in Arlington at the Rock Symposium.
It's funny that you say that about a network, because the reason why I got this job up here is Coach Jason Johnson over here. He is a hurdle coach here at Rockwall, and he spoke on the hurdles at coaching school my first summer as a coach. And hurdle coach, this guy just coached the state champion in the 110 hurdles. I'm going to go see what he has to say. So I sit there, take some notes, and he's, reiterating, actually funny, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today. Oh man, I have a great kid. And, he's not saying, oh, I'm the guru or whatever. He's just giving the credit to the kid, which I know is not the case. It takes some coaching too, right? He's being humble about it. Afterwards, I introduced myself to him, and we connect. And later that year, I spoke at a different coaching clinic, and we exchanged emails and phone numbers, and we're texting. And then I've known him for 3 years. And then there was an opening here in Rockwall at the end of the school year, right? Because coaches are getting promotions, and I never thought I'd be up here either. It was not like I was looking for a job. looking to move. That wasn't the case. And it worked out because I was building my network unintentionally I genuinely wanted to see what this guy said, right? As a young coach, that's the best you can do, is go learn from people who have done it and been successful. And they haven't been successful every time. That's what you're going to find out, is a lot of times you learn more in those years where you struggle
Absolutely.
than you do in that year where
Yep.
you coach a state championship hurdle kid, right?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it comes down to the kids. You're going to have the great kids and they're going to do great things. But it's whenever you have those kids that don't, stick out, like, man, that kid's obviously going to be great. Like, okay, well, what can you do with those kids, right? Is that kid going to an Ivy League school to get a great education, right? Or what else is he doing besides the value that he brings or she brings in that sport?
And what I tell the younger coaches too, Randy and Coach Wolf, is chase happiness.
Yeah.
Like make sure that where you're at, where your feet are, that you're happy, that you look forward to going to work, that you look forward to working, that the people you work with, and the kids that you get to coach. I go, that's a privilege. That's a privilege, and make sure that, and that's what I share with the young coaches. Chase happiness, guys. Don't chase a stipend. Don't chase a title. Make sure that you're happy, in the profession and the position that you're at.
Something that I always have to tell myself, especially during my season, because it's hard, right? It's a grind, and there's a lot of different ways that your season can be hard, and so as much as I can, I try to put positivity in my life as much as I can. I listen to something positive every day. I read something positive every day. I make sure I speak to somebody who's super positive every day. Even if it's my best friend, I'm going to make sure that at some point I'm going to talk to somebody in my day who's going to also speak life into me positively, right? And I think that's a big thing today that we have got to do, is that when we're in a valley, that's when we really got to seek different ways to bring positive into our lives, right? And a lot of times people today, they think that I've never been in a valley in my life or in my career. And I'm like, oh no, I've been in a lot. And that's probably the place that I grow the most, is when I am in my seasons of valleys, right? But one of the things that I learned early, my assistant at Elgin coached me at Elgin. She'd been in my life my entire life. She's like a second mom to me. And Coach Pfister, in my 9 years as a head coach at Elgin, she was my rock mentoring program. She taught me all the ins and outs of all the things that I needed to do in all the different things, right? Everything today that somebody would get from the rock mentoring program, she was that for me. Right. But if I wouldn't have had that mentor in my life in those 9 years, I probably would have not grown in that valley time, because, and I think that would be a big piece of advice for coaches, all coaches, not just young coaches, but especially young coaches who maybe can, turn negative about how their year has been, is find a mentor. Find a mentor. We all have mentors. I have so many people that I cling on to them. I'm like, well, you're stuck with me now. You're my mentor now. You don't even know it, but you're mentoring me. But I think that that's a big piece, is that we've all got to have mentors, and for those of us who are seasoned coaches, not that you're successful, but somebody who's done it. You've done it in the good times and you've done it in the bad times. Find people to mentor. Find people to mentor, whether you know or they know that you're mentoring. But you know what I'm saying? That's how we're really giving back to kids, right? Is we're growing the next generation of coaches. And they're not going to be able to do this on their own, because 19 years ago is way different than today in coaching, and we all have to lean on somebody. And I think that would be another great thing, adding to what you guys say, is mentors.
Coach Villasenor here is my official rock mentor. I am his mentee. And that's how kind of we all got connected together. And I can't speak highly enough about that program. So if there's any questions out there about that, the website, THSA website has a bunch of information. Y'all reach out to me if you can. But Coach Wolf and Coach Villasenor, I kind of, as we wrap up, I did a little research and reached out to a couple people that you guys are very close to, and just asked them about their impact or the impact that you've had on their lives. And I'm going to read just two people, one person for each of you guys, and then I'll say who said it afterwards. So Coach Wolf, this one's for you.
Mm-hmm.
The person that I reached out to said, I was a college coach who she gave an interview to over Skype while I was covered in dirt working a softball camp at Mississippi State. She got my resume from a different coach who she had just happened to see at an all-star game. We clicked from the first conversation, and we always say that God is a thing and we are truly soul sisters. I was tired and burned out from college coaching, and I wanted to impact the younger generations. She took a chance on me, and I moved to Austin knowing no one, and she loved on me and took me as family. Her parents are literally parents to me, and my parents think of her as a daughter as well. Her husband is truly my brother, and her sons are my nephews. We have grown so much together as coaches, educators, and women. She pushes me to be better every day. I couldn't imagine coaching without her. I truly mean it when I say that she has a positive impact on every coach, player, student, and person she comes in contact with. I am grateful for the knowledge and experience she gives so freely to all. My ride or die, my sister, El Lobo, Amanda Wolf.
Awesome.
I think you know who wrote that.
Well, this morning she said to me, she goes, you didn't tell me you're doing a podcast today. I said, how do you know I'm doing a podcast? She said, you can't keep anything from me in my life.
Well, and everything that you said that we've talked about today, and this is a direct reflection from an assistant's point of view and what they think of you as a head coach and a leader, and that is awesome. And it's awesome knowing that, I've got to be around you guys and we're getting to do this together has been a full circle moment for me as well. And now Coach Villasenor, you and I have very similar backgrounds that we talked about earlier.
Oh.
For those of the guys that don't know, my dad and Coach Villasenor's dad worked together. So they used to coach together back in the day.
And Randy's dad was my position coach in high school.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
My dad used to coach Coach V. So it's been I talk about full circle, right?
Yeah.
So I reached out to someone for you, Coach, and it's short and sweet, just like he is. But Eric was only going to work for me for 3 years and then go to law school. 23 years later, look at where he is now. He has always been a fierce competitor, and one of his best attributes has always been that he challenges himself and strives to meet his goals. As his father, I am more than proud. He and I have always seen eye to eye when it came to coaching, and now he is making an impact on his entire community. Love you, mijo.
Oh, I love that.
Everything you guys have talked about today, I feel super fortunate to be in front of you guys today.
I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed sharing some pieces of what's helped me along the way. Randy, you're a rock star, man. Keep climbing. Coach Wolf, pleasure. I follow you on Twitter or X now, whatever it is. Big fan. Built a relationship with Coach Larry Hill, with offensive coordinator Glenn Hill. Just good people. Just a huge fan of what y'all do at Smithson Valley, and just wish you nothing but the best as January 10th rolls around when softball season officially opens up.
Guys, I just, all of you, I would have never probably gotten an opportunity to actually meet if not for THSCA, right? Mm-hmm. And THSCA will always be one of the things that I'm probably the most proud to be a part of, because I feel like the minute that I dove into this association, that I have grown as a person. I've become a better person, and I want to thank you guys for all that you do. And anyone listening to this, I want to encourage you to continue to make a difference in the lives of the kids in which walk through your hallways and your classrooms and are on your field. I believe in all the work we do, guys. I do. I want us to all continue to fight the good fight.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we're doing right now is we're all fighting the good fight.
Chris, got anything else for us?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody. Thank Coach Wolf-Schramm so much. Thank Coach Villasenor, Coach Bermea. I mean, what a great job! Wonderful, inspiring
rock star.
Here. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, of course, I want to thank our guest, but I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me what I consider the most valuable thing you can give, your time and your attention. And I know you don't do it to hear me. You do it for the great messages provided by the THSCA. And hey, if you'd like to associate your company with the THSCA and the Coach's Call podcast, limited sponsorship opportunities are available. You can reach out to me, Chris Daly, 713-269-4620, or head over to my website, freshmediaworks.com. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Texas high school coaches. Please share this show out to everybody you can so that we can help share these important messages. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time on The Coach's Call. The interviews in this show are brought to you by the Texas High School Coaches Association. THSCA provides to its more than 26,000 members access to the people, events, tools, and resources to help them thrive in the profession, become trusted leaders in their communities, and live balanced and successful lives. The work and sacrifice coaches do every day is vital to the development and success of student athletes. The THSCA supports these efforts. We fight for every coach, provide them with the connections and resources to improve their lives, and help all student athletes throughout the state enjoy lasting success. The mission statement is simply this: to help and serve Texas high school coaches as they work to help and serve student athletes. Helping coaches help kids. For more information on the THSCA, visit www.thsca.com.